What's up? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. This morning, happy weekend to y'all. Saturday morning, we're gonna do our get back to our Saturday morning reviews, as we usually do every week or so. Today we're gonna get back to another edition of Which Album is a Better Listen. Today we're going to take a look at a couple of West Coast artists. One artist I want to get to was from a project earlier this year, Baby Keem Casino, that dropped. I believe it dropped, I want to say in either March or April or so. And I've been meaning to get to this album for a while, so I finally want to do this, and I actually want to pair this against another West Coast artist, Vince Staples, and his new album Crybaby. Vince Staples is another, I would say, pretty well-known West Coast artist from the 2010s. He had the Vince Staples Show, fame he's known for on TV. And he's a very I'd say eclectic rapper. He's in that vein of like a Childish Gambino, maybe a little bit of a Tyler the Creator, maybe not as lyrical, but more in that camp. And of course, Baby Keem comes from the Kendrick Lamar school, the TDE school, even though I don't think he's directly signed to TDE, but yeah, Baby Keem, who is Kendrick Lamar's cousin, already a Grammy Award winner, and his new project on Casino. So let's get right to it. Let's start with Casino. Pull this up on my screen. Hold on a minute. All right. So, Baby Keem Casino. Now, I'm going to admit something here. I was not the biggest fan of Baby Keem. I mean, I thought that he's a pretty good artist, but for the hype he was receiving as being like the next one, if you will, I wasn't seeing it. I saw a lot of Kendrick Lamar mannerisms in him, and to me, he was just like the extension of Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? And I always said, if I want Kendrick Lamar, I'll just go to the real thing. I think on his first album, I didn't know what direction he wanted to go into. I didn't know if he wanted to be more of like a melody type rapper, like a Don Toliver type. He did have some bars and he did stand out, but it was nothing that was earth shattering. I mean, of course, the joints that he did with Kendrick Lamar on Melodic Blue, and I actually saw Baby Keem come out at the GNX tour when we were at MetLife. He had a very impressive performance. I mean, the energy in the building was phenomenal when Baby Keem came out. I didn't even realize he had that big of a following amongst young listeners. However, I came into this album thinking, all right, we'll see, but I was judging it on the scale as to, is this guy going to put out a classic? You know what I mean? And I didn't see it, so I kind of cast it away for a while. You know what I mean? But I saw people still talking about it. I saw it on the hip hop media sites. People were still discussing this. So I'm like, all right, well, let me come back to it and see what it's all about. So, Baby Keem Casino, what did I like? I did like the lyrics on here. I like the fact that he took more of an introspective tone on here. I'd say, if I were to rate the lyrics, I'd probably say it would probably be like a 7.5 to an 8. I think he did a good job of telling stories on here. This was not what I perceived it to be, which is more like a melody rap type of album. This was more of a traditional hip hop album, and he really took advantage of that and really got introspective on here lyrically. And I like that. Now his bars weren't going to blow you away, but it was effective. So I probably go 7.5 to an 8 with the lyrics. What did I like on the production? Um, I the beats were pretty good. Were pretty good. Nice mix of samples. Nice mix of some banger type energy on some of those records, which I'll get to in a minute. So I'll probably say the production overall is probably about a 8. I'd probably say a solid 8. And flows of energy, I did think he brought it on here. Again, I liked almost more the down tempo introspective songs than the more the anthem type records like a Casino. But I think overall he was very balanced on here. Gave you a good mix of, you know, energetic flows. Good diction on his flow, similar to that of Kendrick Lamar, who has one of the best flows in the game. But at the same time, being very good amount of storytelling on here. Like I liked his tone on the storytelling songs as well. So I'd say the flows and energy is probably about an 8 on that. So what songs did I like? I like Casino. At first, I really wasn't in love with that song, but I definitely saw the energy in that. Definitely a surefire banger. I like Good Flirts with Kendrick Lamar, and I think him and Kendrick really work well together on that. More of a down tempo record, but I I like the chill type of vibe on that song as well, and what they're talking about. House Money, I think another banger. Um, I thought Kendrick Lamar was doing the ad libs on there, but found out it's actually Denzel Curry that was doing that. But that's another banger on there, so I definitely rock with that. I'm Not a Lyricist, maybe my favorite joint on here, which is a storytelling vibe record, real introspective, nice chill beat, relatable beat. You know what I mean? So that might be my favorite joint on here. Also, Highway 95 Part 2, similar type of introspective type of vibe on here, storytelling vibe like that one. I would say, and No Blame at the end. I think No Blame, which is more like an ode to his mother on here as well. Also, a song that was kind of growing on me was kind of the Sex Appeal with Too Short. Um, I don't know. It's kind of a pop type of record, but it works. And Too Short works with the feature on here. So I definitely like that. What didn't I like? It's a pretty balanced album. Couple of songs like The Dramatic Girl, I thought was a little bit too poppy for me, a pop type of record. Not really feeling that. I almost think like if he would have done away with the melody records on here, maybe it would have been better. You know what I mean? So he would have went with just straight rap. I kind of would have liked that. But yeah, I really wasn't feeling like the melody records on here. Um, and he really didn't need to have that, given it had a very personal vibe to it. You know what I mean? Him talking about a lot of the ladies that he's been with, like um, some of the stories about him coming up in the game. I mean, it turns out he actually had some health issues why he stepped away so long from when he came out with Melodic Blue, and he really got into that. So I'm digging more the personal introspective vibes now. Like I'm more into mature hip hop, and I think he really matured on this album. So with that, the replay value, um, the replay value on here, believe it or not, this has kind of grown on me, and I hate to contradict myself, but it's kind of gotten into my top 10, believe it or not. So the more I listen to it now, when it first came out, the more I can dig it track for track more so, or listen to more tracks on here. So replay value is pretty solid on this album as well. So I am going to go with a rating on here of, drum roll please, 8 out of 10. I definitely like the vibe on here. I think he matured as a rapper. At first, I thought this was going to be another Kendrick Lamar clone type of album, and some of his records, like Casino, had that vibe. But overall, I think you could start to see him kind of separate himself and be his own rapper now, and I like that. I like the maturity on this record. So I'm gonna go with a solid 8 out of 10, and it's gonna be in my top 10 albums right now. So I would definitely have to go with that. So next record, we're going to go with Vince Staples. As soon as I pull this up, hold on a minute. Let's get to the top. Let me just get it. Staples Crybaby. Yeah, let me just pull this up. Which this album right here, this is an interesting album. Is all I got to say, man. Vince Staples Crybaby. So I'm just gonna come out and say that right now, personally, I'm trying to get away from conscious and social political hip hop. Like, that's just not the space I'm in. I mean, me personally, I don't like the state this country's really in, and I try to avoid thinking of that. And I want to look for other outlets, to get away from the social, political, the racial climate in this country. And this album is 100% a conscious hip hop record, a conscious social political hip hop record. And at first you're going to pick up on it, but it's a very it's going to hit you in the face. I'll just say that. Some of the tones are very cool and he's smooth about it, but other times you could feel the anger about this, the anger in his tone. It's a strong conscious album. I say that. So what did I like about this going off the top? And I'm gonna be honest, this grew on me too. And I had to take some convincing on this. I'm gonna go and come off with the production at first, and I'm just gonna let you know that this is more of a punk rock style type of album. A lot of guitar influence, a lot of real live drum performances here. Not a lot of drum machines. No turn up tracks on here. No real melody tracks on here. No real vibe tracks on here. This was a very heavily charged rock influenced album. At first, I didn't like it, but I want to be honest with you. This is really original. Like no other album out right now is sounding like this. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Run the Jewels and the type of sound they had. But I gotta admit it, I like the vibe on here. I like the rock vibe on here. It gives you a little bit of an Outcast vibe. You know what I mean? A little bit of Run the Jewels vibe on here. But I have to say, production is probably 8.5 out of 10 on that. Um, Flows of energy. I like his tone on here because he used his tones to be angry at certain times, to be smooth and melodic, almost um, somewhat sarcastic. You could pick up on some of the vibes on here, and it matches the song energy that he has with his flow. So I like that. That's probably an 8 out of 10. Um, and as far as the what else do I like here? The lyrics, you're going to pick up on phrases and things here and there, but the meaning behind his lyrics are very good. He did a very good job with that. And he kind of concealed some of the bars behind some. There's a lot of double meaning on these on the lyrics on here, but again, it's politically, socially charged. This is probably the strongest. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. This might be the most racially charged album since "To Pimp a Butterfly." I'm just gonna put that out there. It is. It's pretty strong. It hits you in the face. Says a lot of things. He criticizes the presidential administration that we got right now. He has songs on here. Well, I'll get to the songs on here right now, but songs on here about police violence, police brutality, and it's very, very politically charged. Um, so what did I like on here as far as some of the songs? I like Blackberry Marmalade. I like how that started. I think White Flag, uh, basically about his disdain for America and the hypocrisy he talks about in America. I think that's a very strong record. I like that. Running Man, also another very a socially charged record that talks about a lot of hypocrisies going on. Um, I think TV Guide might be my favorite on here because he talks a lot about how the media, whatever type of media you're into or you listen to, controls you, and how we're glued to the media, while at the same time we're not really in tune with what's really going on. You know, we're listening to narratives, and this is just not in politics and social issues. This is in hip hop too. Hip hop now has become narrative media. And narrative media now runs hip hop instead of people actually listening to the music. I love this song. One of the strongest songs of the year. Big Bad Wolf, where he talks about police violence and police brutality, racial police brutality. Only in America. A lot about the American hypocrisy going on in our society, especially um, against people of color. You know what I mean? Um, and I think closing out was 7 in the Morning, a very chill, introspective record at the end that really closes out on a real somber vibe. You know what I mean? So, what I didn't like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if it's gonna have much replay value for me. I like the fact that he took a risk. I like the fact that it's different from anything sounding around here, but that rock infused industrial sound just isn't my thing. Like I like a little bit more vibe. I like maybe some more turn up to it or more of a traditional boom bap type of style. But um because of the style of the rock style, rock infused style, I'm a little bit turned off. But the messages behind here keeps me locked in. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be listening to a couple songs on here on and off. Um Definitely the replay value might take away from it. So if I'm gonna go with an overall rating, this is hard for me, man, because I really, I want to love this album, but because of basically the style that he took, because I'm just not into that rock vibe like that. I'm gonna go with a 7.5 out of 10. Still a solid, dope album, but the messages and the messages carry this album. The social political energy carries this album. You know what I mean? And who knows? It might grow on me. I'm still getting used to this. I'm still getting new to this. But right now I got to go with a 7.5 out of 10. Even though I gave credit to the production, it's just not my vibe. It's just not my thing. I'm not really into that industrial type of sound. But this is definitely an album that is, probably going to meet my top 10. Even though I say 7.5 out of 10, I might go 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Probably going to make my back end maybe honorable mentions, because in the end of the day, the messages around here you can't get around it. You know what I mean? It's just too powerful. And even though I'm not into, social and political, that political style of rap, I'm not into really conscious rap like that. This is just hard to ignore. It just hits you in the face. You have to give it its credit, even if it's not your sound, or you're going to end up listening. So I'm going to say 7.5, leaning towards an 8 out of 10. I'd even pull it up. Maybe 7.5 to 8 out of 10. And this album will grow on you. And the thing about it is you have to stay with it, even though it may not be a really easy listening sound with a rock infusion. You do have to stay with it. So that's what I will say. So, all right, what are we going to do as far as picking a winner here? Which album is the better listen? Let's make up a nice little banner right here first. Vince Staples. And again, something that you got to think of, and you saw this last year, you know what I mean, as the last year off of the GNX run and all of that. I tell you what, the West Coast is really killing it. And I think the West Coast now is what the East Coast, and I would say East Coast and Chicago used to be when it came to creative and versatile styles of hip hop. I mean, you got Kendrick Lamar, you got YG, you got The Game, even. You got Vince Staples, Baby Keem, Tyler the Creator. You can't get a different set of rappers or MCs, but all are rapping at a very high level. Even I said The Game. But pulling it back to Vince Staples and Baby Keem, which album would I listen to more? And this is tough for me because both of these albums at first I wasn't in love with. I'm going to give the edge to Baby Keem Casino, because I like his growth on this album. I like the fact that he matured on this project. So I would have to go with Baby Keem and give the slight edge. But you know what? That Vince Staples album is growing on me fast. Even though it's not the sound I want to hear, you just can't ignore this. Like, this is one of those albums that I can see being nominated for a Grammy. I really could see both albums being nominated for a Grammy. But Vince Staples' album is making a lot of noise right now, and the momentum is growing. However, at this moment, I'm going to take Baby Keem because I like the maturity on here. But you know what? I think both of these albums, at the very least at my back end, will make my top 10 right now. I mean, I still think Fall Off is pole position. I like Spiral Staircases. I love the production on that one. Ashes in the Safe, a very good street energy on there. Eight Shots from 38 Special, definitely that East Coast street energy. But I got to give it up to the West Coast. They're coming with the creativity right now. They're coming with the versatility as far as just an eclectic amount of sounds coming out from the West Coast, from Vince Staples with his politically charged album, Baby Keem with his more maturity, showing maturity in that album, in more of a story introspective style of rap. Also, another album that I like is Deontay Hitchcock, Junkie in the Sun. That's another introspective album. That's in my top 10. But I really like the versatility and the creativity that we're seeing in 2026 hip hop. It's really turning out to be a really, really good year in hip hop with more to come. You know what I mean? So overall, Baby Keem, I'm gonna go with a solid 8 out of 10. Baby Keem Casino. That's what I'm gonna give my edge to right now. But Vince Staples, Crybaby, I'm going with a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. But it could grow on me. I could see this slowly starting to creep into the album of the year conversation. Even though Baby Keem's album is no slouch either. But I mean, me personally, I'm gonna give the edge to Baby Keem right now, Casino. But you tell me what you think. Both definitely check both albums out and let me know what you think. Crybaby by Vince Staples. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Crybaby Vince Staples or Casino by Baby Keem. You tell me what's a better listen, but I'm giving the slight edge to Baby Keem Casino right now, but that could change, because I think the Vince Staples album, it's just not my sound. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It could grow on me, so we'll see. But right now, I go Baby Keem Casino as the better listen over Vince Staples' Crybaby. But definitely check both albums out and get back to me. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is the better listen? And I will be coming back with some new content later on this weekend. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Peace.